Ladies and gentlemen, I like this wig too, so I'm wearing it in a lot of videos. Now guys, I really think it's important to remember that we are all beautiful, that we all want to strive for more, that we are looking for a better life. And another good thing to remember, in terms of judging people or whatever, I think it's really important to know this, in case you're young. I mean, a lot of older people don't really worry about this kind of thing, but if you're younger, even if you're like 18, 19, or even as a kid, if you think to yourself, oh, you know, I'm judging people, I don't think they're doing well, etc., etc. If you say all these judgments or whatever, or you do all these things, you have to remember that some people's circumstances aren't good, right? And some people are mentally unwell because they're in a horrible situation, or they have no money to pay for food, or they're homeless or whatever. So to make fun of someone that is really struggling with money, or maybe they live they live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of smoking or whatever, or a lot of whatever, and they're not healthy, and they were normally healthy before. So, you know, to assume that people are the way they are because it's their fault, or because they've done something wrong, is not necessarily true, right? Some of this is the fault of other people, right? Anyway, I think it's important to know that even as an adult, you know, learning that too, right? At some point we have, you know, it's better to mature. I mean, not everyone does, and I don't think it's necessarily what people do, but it's better to mature sometimes and realize, you know, hey, you know, I really shouldn't believe this idea about people being at fault, or that somebody on social assistance chose that way, or somebody that's homeless was decided to be homeless. And I'm not saying, you know, change your personality and be always friendly and talk to everyone in every situation. Sometimes it's risky to talk to someone that's not doing well, or not necessarily, but there are times where it might be risky or unsafe or whatever. So don't just assume I'm saying, you know, go out there and be nice to everyone and talk to everyone that's in all these situations because you're judging too much, you know. But in general, like if someone's an alcoholic, which is a very difficult thing to deal with, no one should have to go through that, but they might not be easy to get along with, right? So instead of being like, oh my God, they just said this to me, my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to do, you know, realize that you don't have to say anything to them, but you can just realize, hey, you know, I mean, if you want to, go ahead, but you should just realize, hey, you know, they are suffering. That's not them, that's the alcohol, that's not who they are. Or if they do a lot of drugs, or they do a lot of smoking and they look very old for their age because they smoke a lot, or whatever the case may be, you know, they might be doing that because they might be in an environment where that's part of the environment. So it's not necessarily, you know, their own fault, right? It's not necessarily something that they did, right? So being hard on them, I mean, obviously do what you want if you don't want to approach them. I mean, I'm not saying approach them, obviously, but if you want to, go ahead. But I mean, if you never approach people that seem like they're unsafe or intoxicated, whatever, don't, right? But if you I'm not saying either way. I'm basically saying do what you normally would do, but instead of judging, you know, realize that not everyone's situation is their own fault, right? And some people have dealt with a lot of abuse, etc. You know, so, or they have mental health issues or whatever, like severe ones. So you can't assume. Anyway, don't do it. Bye now.